Turning, looking,
It is Monday night, August 15th, and the Yankees are back in the Bronx to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Garrett Cole gets the start tonight as he tries to get the Yankees out in front in this three-game set. My recap, your reactions, coming up next. This is Yankees Game Night. Hey, just a quick reminder that NYY Recaps is now available on all podcast platforms. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get podcasts. Tonight's game is brought to you by Manscaped, the world leader in male grooming products. Visit manscaped.com and use the code NYYRecaps at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. They've got everything from razors to body sprays to boxer shorts, and it's all great, and I vouch for them 100%. Visit manscaped.com, use the code NYYRecaps, 20% off and free shipping. I'd ask how you're doing, everybody, but I think I already know. Nightmare road trip is finally over, and a nightmare homestand begins. Look, I would love to be able to rip this team a new one and tell you a bunch of reasons why they suck right now, but I don't think I can tell you anything that you don't already know. They don't score runs anymore. There's no life to the offense when they don't hit home runs. Same story for the past 22 years of the Brian Cashman era. And this team is starting to look a lot more like the team from April than the team from May and June. So I'm going to do my recap, and I'm going to let my co-host do the ripping. And since on this channel the audience is the co-host, you know what to do. So cue up those rants. Hey, before we get started, we haven't had a belt winner in a while because the Yankees just keep losing. Got to score some runs to get the belt. So I want to give a shout out to Frankie Baseball, who spent a lot of time over the past few days compiling all of the belt winners. He went back and watched all the videos, all the live streams, back to the original belt, which went to Chris Gittens. And he tallied them up, and a lot of you have been asking who's won the most and all that stuff. Well, I'll give you a full report when the season's over, breakdown player by player, but right now, the all-time leader is, of course, Aaron Judge with 18 belt awards. Giancarlo Stanton is second with 12. And tonight's starter, Garrett Cole, is third with 10, but no belt tonight. Because we didn't do a recap last night, I didn't get to talk about the K-Rod cast, the Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez innings that they were in the booth together. I don't know what to call it. It's closest thing to a booth, in the podcast studio together. I saw a lot of people comment on it and say that it was awkward. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty entertaining. Look, you can tell that Derek Jeter didn't want to be there, but I really don't think it was because of Alex Rodriguez. I think he just doesn't like giving interviews and being asked questions. I think all Derek Jeter wants to do these days is play with his kids. I think that's all he wants to do. I think he's been living his entire life and having all the success that he's had for now, so that he could be 40, whatever, 45 maybe, with a beautiful wife and 3 kids and living in a mansion without a care in the world. No job to speak of. I don't think, I guess it's a Players Tribune, but he just didn't want to be there. But it wasn't because of Alex Rodriguez. As I mentioned, Yankees back in the Bronx tonight, but the fans headed for the exits early. Interesting lineup. Gleyber Torres was 0 for 22 coming in. He was in the leadoff spot, and you know what? He ripped the first pitch that he saw for a base hit. You can't predict baseball, Susan. Both teams were hacking at the first pitch a lot early in the game. I got the feeling that everybody was just in a rush to go see the Better Call Saul finale, right? Better Call Saul! Bottom first. I think I have bottom. It might be the wrong ending. Anthony Rizzo got hit in the leg by a slow curveball, but the umpire ruled that he didn't get out of the way. And I'm inclined to agree. To me, it looked like he saw a slow curve coming and saw an opportunity to get a runner into scoring position. That couldn't have been the first inning. I must have wrote that down wrong. He ended up striking out, and he went ballistic in the dugout. I've never seen Rizzo get that mad, but I don't blame him. You can see the pent-up frustration building on the team right now. And look, the umpire definitely inserted himself into that play because that never gets called. I mean, you get hit by a pitch in the major leagues, typically you just go to first base. Top four, positively horrendous play by Aaron Hicks.
Oh, yes. I hate this. It is revolting.
It was a fly ball to center field, moderately deep. I mean, it hit the warning track, but it had a 95% catch probability. 95%. And the center fielder for the New York Yankees spun around like 3 times, and it dropped for a leadoff triple.
We spend $250 billion a year on defense.
Are you kidding me? Stevie Wonder could have taken a better route to that ball. Harrison Bader could have caught that ball with his walking boot on. What are you doing out there? Is this a professional baseball team? Are these the New York Yankees? For crying out loud? What is going on here? How can we allow this? Where was Brian Cashman? Every time that Hicks does something like that, the camera should pan up to Brian Cashman. What are you going to do about it, Brian? I guess Harrison Bader was the move. It's hard to be excited about a guy who hasn't walked without a boot in months. Yanks got off to a good start in the bottom of the fourth. Line drive single from Andujar. Then a drag bunt single by Andrew Benintendi. IKF picked up a 1-out single to load the bases for Aaron Hicks. Give him a shot at redemption. But
it doesn't work that way.
He ended up failing. Double play with the bases loaded. Again, 4th time this season. And I'm telling you, I have not heard the Yankee Stadium crowd boo like that since Hideki Irabu. I have not heard anybody get it that bad. Not Stanton when he was struggling. Not even Joey Gallo. The boos that Aaron Hicks got were immense. They were audibly destructive. Unreal. Got to get this guy off the team. You got to get some blood into this lineup. I don't care if it's Florial. I don't care if they're going to shift him. Let him play for 3 or 4 weeks until Bader gets here. Peraza. Somebody. Get somebody up here. Come on. Garrett Cole threw the ball pretty well tonight. Didn't deserve the fate that he got. He was done after 6 innings. Final line, 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Jonathan Loaizaga had a good night tonight. Wandy Peralta looked good tonight. But the Rays did put up a crooked number in the 9th, and they finish him off 4-0. So let's get those rants ready. Jay Val says, Hicks gotta go.
I hardly agree.
Rayrard says, this team is literally collapsing and nothing can be done. I don't know what you can do. I mean, you might be right. I mean, you could call up some guys, but there's no guarantee that they're going to hit. I mean, most minor leaguers struggle when they first come to the major leagues. You see guys sometimes get off to a hot start, home run on their first at bat or something like that. But, most players, at least for the first few weeks, even if they get off to a first, good couple of games, will come back down to earth. Orlando Rodriguez says, Bader. I mean, I would take him in a walking boot. over Aaron Hicks. Joey Gallo says Gallo is laughing for sure. Nikki Webb Gang says we need Stanton back. It would be nice. I have a feeling when they get him back, things might turn around a little bit because he does change the lineup immensely. But I still feel like we need something. There's something missing, and I can't put my finger on it. You know, I thought maybe having some more contact guys in the lineup. Benintendi, contact guy, putting the ball in play, but now nobody's getting on base. Earl of Demise with the dono, appreciate it, says, no more excuses. Team was slumping when Stanton, DJ, and Carp were in the lineup. Injuries is a BS excuse. We got shut out by a team with more injuries than us. 1 run in our last 22 innings. Well said, Earl. Well said. Parks and Young says, this is 2021 all over again. And then Luis R. says, Cashman needs to be fired. No ring in 15 years is an embarrassment to everything this franchise stands for, and they are nothing more than a marketing brand. Appreciate the dono. I don't think Cashman's going anywhere, but it's noteworthy to say he's not signed for much longer. They didn't extend him. Boone is signed. I don't think he's going anywhere. And even if Boone was fired, they would just replace him with Boone 2.0. If this team collapses after a, 46-19 start, was something like that. They were playing 700 ball for 3 months. If they collapse, that's Brian Cashman's ass, y'all. Y'all, that's what we say here in the South. I'm not from the South. I'm from Poughkeepsie. But y'all is one of those things that I've picked up. And y'all, if this team collapses, that's Brian Cashman's ass. Parks and Young says, so many wasted roster spots.
I hardly agree.
Homeworld Hub Media says, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has been this team's entire offense for the last 3 games. Literally. That's unbelievable. And it's true. And he made a nice snag tonight. He also booted one. Andy from 93 says, at least Peraza's getting called up to replace Donaldson this weekend. I mean, I would like to see it. I don't know if it's really going to happen, though. I mean, Donaldson, they love his defense. They've definitely prioritized infield fielding percentage on ground balls. They don't want any ground balls to ever get through. I don't see any way that they're going to replace Donaldson before the season's over. I could see him not being here next year. I think that, next year, we might see a lot of changes on this team. The bullpen's going to look completely different. They're not going to re-sign Chapman. I don't think they're going to bring Jameson Taillon back. Zach Britton, Chad Green, probably both gone. Probably going to use some of the younger blood. I mean, I could see Donaldson going. Hicks is almost certainly gone. Hicks might be gone this month, honestly. It's hard. Look, it's hard to play like this emotionally. Did you see him after that double play? Man looked like he was going to cry. He really did. The camera zoomed in on him, and he looked like the Michael Jordan meme. It's the baby face. Did you guys ever see? I think it was it Dave Chappelle? It was somebody had a comedian had a really great line about Michael Jordan. How Michael Jordan has become this meme, this basketball crying man meme. And some kid went up to Michael Jordan and said, "Are you the crying baby face man?" And it's like Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player that's ever lived. Probably the greatest athlete that's ever lived. Other than maybe Bo Jackson. And are you the crying baby face man? I laugh every time I think about that. B-Horn says, I don't understand why Marwin Gonzalez is on this team when Oswaldo Cabrera can do everything Marwin can, except he's younger and with a higher ceiling. Defense, again. But I agree with you. And look, the other day, it wasn't a typo. No, there was something wrong with the stats, but his home run totals have gone up. He's hit 6 home runs since coming back off the IL. He's got a good left-handed stroke. He's actually a switch hitter. He can play all over the infield. He's young, doesn't cost much. I'd love to see him. Yankees Fun Yankees fan, but Nestor is king, says, why the hell is Gallo so good at the moment? He's in LA. Probably the beard. Honestly. He gets to be himself. Isaac says, JD is washed and that incident with Tim ruined his career. You're probably right. Jack Wells says, we're turning into the freaking Dallas Cowboys. We're just a brand. Yankees judge says, get rid of Hicks and Donaldson now with 19 W's. And then Will Star says, I know Cashman has to watch this channel. I think Cashman's got better things to do, but if he does, watch this channel. You know, I'll just give an impromptu, off-the-cuff message to Brian. Brian, I respect you, and I've been watching the Yankees my whole life. I've been watching your entire career as the Yankees GM. And you've done it before. You've injected life into the roster before. Chen-Ming Wong, Robinson Cano. In 2005, those guys turned around a lackluster team. That's what this team needs. Last summer, when the Yankees were in that big slump, what happened? Vasquez and Florial. And Allen. Greg Allen. Maybe a little Tyler Wade mixed in. He was already on the team, but you know, getting some young guys into the lineup, it just puts some energy and some life into the stadium. You know, a couple of those young guys get a hit, come through in a big moment. It takes the pressure off of the Rizzos and the Judges and the Donaldsons and the Hicks. And you've done it before. It's time. Get on the phone and get a couple of these kids up. We need them. AK12 says, wait for the 18th. Maybe we'll see some young guys coming up. It's only a few days away. Good chance that it happens. Lou Rom says, this is not Yankees baseball. I agree.
Absolutely. Hey.
Juan Peralta says, we need to spend money on superstars. I mean, what superstars could we have? I suppose you could have signed, Starling Marte this winter. You needed a center fielder. You could have signed Max Scherzer if he was willing to come here and you were willing to pay that price. He came to New York, so obviously if the Yankees were willing to write a big enough check, could have signed Freeman. But again, Rizzo's done a nice job. And that call on Rizzo tonight, I mean, look, I really think he did lean into it. Look at that. He leaned all the way in. He's trying to get hit by the ball. Get out of here. There's that New York bullshit detector. Look at that catch by Hicks. Or that non-catch. Awful. Awful. Oh, man. It's tough. It's tough. James Reckling says another great signing. Trevino. So he's talking about the relief pitcher by the spelling. He had a tough night. He's really had a tough time since coming to the Yankees. He's still got the arm, but he's just hitting a lot of bats, as my dad would say. Rocky says it was better. 49-16. Seems like 100 years ago. Wheel says buy some booze to kill the pain. Appreciate it, but I don't drink. I don't drink. I've had actually whiskey on this channel a couple of times, but I haven't had any alcohol in probably, I'd say since last October. I don't know why. I just don't like the taste of it. It doesn't do anything for me. It just makes me have to pee a lot. Earl of Demise says Cashman didn't want to give Judge more money, but justifies $50 million to 36-year-old washed-up Donaldson. Somebody call Theo Epstein and Bruce Bochy. Appreciate the second dono.
He's done it again.
Coming up in the clutch. C-Max says Donaldson is the biggest waste of $20 mil ever.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Not Smear the Goat says, bro, this team sucks. Very succinct. Douglas Rao, always with great takes, says, I mean, they let Joey Gallo stink it up as long as they did. I can see them letting Aaron Hicks stink it up the rest of the way. I think he's definitely going to stink it up the rest of the season, but as I say sometimes, there's a non-zero chance. Maybe it's time for him to hit the links. Pull up with a hamstring injury tomorrow. It'll be best for the team. And go spend the rest of your summer at Pebble Beach. And then we don't have to watch spectacles like we saw tonight in the outfield. Joe talking about that MJ crying meme. I mean, I just laugh so hard when I think about that. You know, crying baby face? I forget. I wish I could remember the comedian so that I could attribute it properly. The Earl of Demise says, the Mets DFO'd Cano with more money left on his contract, and yet we keep Hicks.
He's done it again.
It's been a tough couple of months for Yankees fans, and I'm trying my best to stay positive because this team still does have a sizable lead in the American League East. But you can't play like you've been playing, or that lead's going to go away. Home field advantage is already pretty much going out the window. The way Houston's been playing and the way the Yankees have been playing in the opposite direction. You need to break out a win streak, and you need to do it right away. All right, guys, I'm going to go catch up on the series finale of Better Call Saul. Reminder to subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms and go ahead and give us a rating. And Manscaped, 20% off and free shipping with the code NYY Recaps at checkout. I'll see you next time.